Hey, buddy.
Kelly Wilson.
Top of the morning to you.
I'm feeling great.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good myself. A little sweaty, but that'll happen.
Last time we vowed to try a different disc golf course.
We did.
You hooked it up?
I mean, I don't know about hooking up. I did a little Google search and I found another course that was probably roughly the same distance from here.
Yeah. Northtown Park.
Yeah.
That was fun.
In Pflugerville. That was a lot of fun. I really liked that course a lot more than the other one. Definitely had holes that were a lot more playable and like parable, so you could like actually possibly even get a birdie on some of them.
Yeah, I thought they were way more like what I really didn't like about the last course is how like intentionally dangerous it seemed to be.
Yeah.
And this had some of that, but it felt like it was from just regular old lack of maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much like somebody came out there, eyeballed it, and was like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of fun shots. I was saying at like the 16th, 17th hole, I think we were both like, had reached peak performance.
Yeah.
You were getting like maximum, like the flight that your disc was doing was like perfect as far as like up and then swing in and going as far as it can.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Your forehand came alive there at the end. You're getting some real distance on that guy.
I think it was like the very last hole. There was like one that was just, it swam through the trees and didn't hit anything. Yeah, that was great.
And on the very last hole, I hit a tree 10 feet in front of me.
That's right.
Off the tee to seal the win for Nate.
Mm.
But it was a lot more competitive of a match, and we actually this time played 12 holes.
Yeah, I think I had 2 holes where I did the same thing of like maybe either off the tee or like the second shot just like hit something right in front of me.
Yeah. But I think we're getting about to the point where we can do a full 18.
Yeah, this time we showed up and there was like a bunch of people on the first 5 holes.
Yeah.
We just jumped to 7 because it was relatively easy to do.
Yeah.
And then didn't have any problems with any people.
Yeah, we weren't really close. Like, the next closest person to us was, I think, 2 holes behind us. So,
yeah.
Never felt rushed or never had to wait on anybody.
Never had to live in fear of... Oh, never mind.
Although, you did, like, basically kill a squirrel.
Oh, that squirrel lucked out.
Like, you missed that squirrel by, like, an inch. And if it would have hit it, it would have... I don't know if it would have killed it, but it would have, like, broken bones in it. And
it would have killed it.
It would eventually have died.
No, it for sure would have killed it, yeah. And I think it bounced off of a tree to nearly decapitate the squirrel. I don't think it was, like, clean from the hand.
From what I saw, it looked like you were aiming right for the squirrel and you were trying to kill it. So I don't know what you were doing there.
Yeah.
But better try to kill a squirrel than a person.
Yeah, no doubt that that squirrel, its next nut will be the sweetest nut it ever tasted.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if it knows it was that close to death.
I think it did. I think the disc struck like an inch from decapitating it or whatever, and it like froze and looked right at me,
mm-hmm.
and then ran up the tree and like waited for me to come over there so it could give me the business.
Yeah. But all's well that ends well.
Yeah, I apologized obviously, and it ended very well. I think. Only issue was like the water, creek or element, hazard, whatever you want to call it. I think literally like we crossed the water 4 times. I think only once there was a bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, feet got a little wet, but it's just that's part of the game.
And we play in the morning, so I said this in the car. Like my feet are always wet just because of the dew.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had said at the last course that was never worried about losing a disc. Like it was very well manicured.
Mm-hmm.
This one wasn't that. This one I was constantly like, "Where's my disc?"
Yeah.
And just because of the overgrowth, and it just seems like this one has less month to month, quarter to quarter maintenance than the other one does.
Yeah. Not quite as big of a park budget in Pflugerville as there is in Round Rock.
Yeah. Well, certainly not just like some random park in Pflugerville versus like Old Settlers, which is like the park complex of Round Rock. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Shoulder feels good.
Yeah, I wish we could play more than once a week, but it's just being adults and stuff, there's just no time for it.
Yeah, once a week is good. It's like, there's people that like play golf 3 times a week, but most people like that love golf are happy to play like once a week. So
Yeah. I mean, if I retired, I'd play like maybe 3-4 times a week.
mm-hmm.
Which really wish I could retire.
I would, in my older age, I think I talked about it last time too. I think so much about unbalance and how like it's not okay to be like whipping just one side of my body like that over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't think that it would hold up.
I don't know.
I think it's neat. One of the things I like about being a animal,
Yeah.
being like having some like fitness knowledge and like self-awareness, is when I've been doing the disc golf and basketball thing for like 4 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely from one to the other. I was still feeling the effects of the last one.
Yeah.
Like when we would go out there to play disc golf, I'd be like, my shoulders kind of, it's loose from playing basketball. And then I play disc golf, and then the next time I go into basketball, I'll be like, my shoulder kind of hurts from playing disc golf. And then like the next time, and it was starting to compound, but then also finally like that accordion or whatever, I came into this like kind of not noticing that I played basketball on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I can already tell, like especially after the first time that we played disc golf.
Yeah.
Not just my shoulder, like my elbow was like aching out. And now it's like, it just feels good. It feels like I used it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, from our first disc golf outing to now, definitely night and day for me in terms of like how my arm feels going in and coming out of it, and the performance I'm getting out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
It gets me excited. Like, I really enjoy that. Like, I'm seeing it with the running too, like around Lake Pflugerville. But then, like, getting into the gym, like, I did that year of fitness, and like ramping up for that was like sincerely like a 3-month like ramp up, but like let me just be in the gym for a while. And then when I hurt my foot last April, I basically took like 3 months off the gym, or like was back to just like sitting in there and sometimes doing stuff. And then I hurt my shoulder in October, and that also like caused some time off. But now I'm just starting to like have all cylinders firing. It feels good. And I like how I can see the rebound or feel that.
very cool. But yeah, I mean, it makes me excited too. Like, that's why I said I wish we could play more. Like, I'm ready to go out like tomorrow and try it again. But
Just be sore all the time.
well, that's the thing. My arm isn't even really the problem anymore. What gets sore for me after we go is like my legs, and my knees a little bit, just because I haven't walked on terrain, like natural terrain, in quite a while, and that definitely works different muscles than just walking on normal floors and sidewalks.
When I was getting back from my foot, I still like walked long distances, but I didn't like throw in jogging as much. I didn't do any like sustained running. And when I started doing sustained running, it was like my lungs were there, but I felt like my quads like just filled up with blood immediately. My quads were like, no, what is this? And that was my getting back into it and how uncomfortable that was.
Yeah. Fun times.
Mm-hmm.
What else going on in the world?
One of the funniest things in Ashley history happened not last week, but the week before. And I think for the first time ever, for me, we've got some audio. Here we go.
It's me, skinny twink icon Abraham Lincoln.
Hi there, my name is Ashley Everhart. I'm a comedian and musician in New York City, and this is what my life looks like on a busy show day. My day actually began the evening before running lines.
Gay skinny legend Abraham Lincoln.
Then I edited my sketch team's title sequence to incorporate new writers and actors. In the morning, I taught a saxophone lesson.
Ba-doo, jigga jigga, ba-doo, ba. Can you try it one more time for me?
A cat sat for my neighbor.
Little kitty, hi. Okay. Oh,
What did you do?
And then I hopped on the train and made it down to the theater for Tech at 4 o'clock. Tech went really well, and before I knew it, I was playing some live music while we were seating the house. The show went off without a hitch, except one. It was a fundraiser because my sketch team is going to Canada to do a show next month, and the audience accidentally Venmoed their donations to the wrong Ashley Everhart. She could not have been any sweeter. She reached out, returned all of the money, and she and I are besties now.
I am Ashley Everhart. You are Ashley Everhart. I think I'm aware of you because sometimes when I Google myself, your yoga practice comes up. Anyway, great name. Sorry, I'm backstage right now with some of my pals.
Anyway, more show videos.
Hello, I am Flopper. Who is Flopper? So feel my tits. They're new.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if you would like to donate toward my sketch team's travels to Toronto next month, we would really appreciate it. The Venmo is on the screen. That's at Ashley C. Everhart. Don't forget about the C. Even a couple of dollars we would be so thankful for. It'll buy a coffee for whichever poor one of us has to drive. Thank you so much. And hey,
something else. So, Ash and I are in the gym, and then she gets paid through Venmo for like 50-50, like 50 cash, 50 Venmo. So it's something that is not surprising to like, hey, you got a deposit or whatever. But they were coming like one after another, after another, after another.
Yeah.
And at first, like the first 2 times, you're like, oh, it seems kind of scammy because we've heard of somebody sends you money. There are scams through Venmo. Yeah, okay. But then it kept happening, like a dozen plus times. And as we're working out, like, I'll do a set and then, like, get on Facebook. She'll do a set and do whatever she does. And after a time, it's like, oh, she's been, like, dealing with this and, like, picking up the pattern and seeing and responding to people on there. And she was like, I'm pretty sure this is part of some, like, theater thing. And then we finish working out, break, so we can each like go shower and I can start cooking and stuff. Mm-hmm. And in that time, that like 20-30 minutes of like cooking and her like being around the corner, she had like worked out with other Ashley C. Everhart that she was doing this theater thing and getting donations for some trip to Canada that they were doing. But it was hysterical. They're like, they're buds now.
Yeah.
This Ashley C. Everhart has like 15,000 followers.
Yeah.
14.9. And it was just hysterical to be able to, that's my first thought when it happened. Was we talked about this before, where like language is weird and there's only so many names, there's only so many like proper noun type things.
Yeah. So
that it's like Ashley.Everhart and Nathan.Pieper, we're like Gmail royalty. Everybody else has to put like numbers.
Yeah.
And that's too bad for them. And I don't know. It was funny while it was happening live.
How much money did our Ashley get sent from the other Ashley's people?
I don't know, but it was definitely more than a dozen transactions. I mean, in that period too, when she was working with it, I have no idea. Like, it could be dozens and dozens. But I was talking to Ash about it, and I was like, oh, I bet, like, New York Ashley was like, oh, Texas Ashley. But, and I assumed that, and this is me assuming, right? So that's, you get what you get.
Yeah.
But I assumed that somebody from New York would be like, I bet they only return part of it. There's like, animosity of like New York towards Texas.
Yeah.
And Ash was like, no, I sent her screenshots and all that. And I guess she got a voicemail from her while we were doing whatever. And yeah, it's just funny.
There's just a whole other crew. Want to find out who all of Ashley C. Everhart's friends are.
We were talking about it between the four of us, and we were like, yeah. Like the Always Sunny gang when there was that other bar.
Yeah.
Other crew.
I was like, yeah, I bet a lot of money that Ashley C. Everhart has a giant bearded guy friend named Kim or something like that.
Kim, Jerome, and I'll gender swap. I'll be Natalie.
Yeah, 'cause she is a lesbian. We found that out.
That's right. Perfecto.
Yeah, good stuff.
Small world.
She probably has a friend that lives in like Kansas.
Instead of Iowa. Alright, you said you had a couple things.
That's really only one thing, but it's like there's a couple parts to it. But it's really not near as fun as that conversation was. But I was just thinking last night about music, as I do.
Mm-hmm. And
I've probably asked you this question before in the history of our whole friendship, but I don't remember the answer if I have asked it. So, who is your favorite composer? And I'm thinking more classical, like not so much like, I wouldn't say like John Williams or something.
Sure. I mean, the big three are Verdi, Mozart, and Beethoven. I think you have to give it... to Mozart. And then probably... Man, it's tough. It's between those three.
I mean, this isn't like who you think is the greatest ever. This is your favorite.
I know. See, now, okay, so I was thinking, like, body work and how many bops, like, that I appreciate from each of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then if I make it, like, which one of them speaks to me the most? There's a lot of those Russians. Like, specifically, like, Shostakovich. We played, yeah. We played a piece in high school that
Festive
I loved.
Overture.
Yeah. But he's done a lot of stuff. It's really cool. I guess Mozart's like the Beatles answer, where it's like, there's something for everybody. And it's like a huge body of work. Why, what's yours?
I mean, so you don't have a definitive answer? Or? I mean, it's okay if you don't, because this is like off the cuff.
I'll stick with Shostakovich because there's a lot of weird stuff in there too. Because like that Russian composer era,
mm-hmm.
like Stravinsky and Tchaikovsky. Like tonally, there's just like fun stuff in there that's not anywhere else.
Yep.
I'd probably go with Shostakovich.
I mean, that's mine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright!
I fucking love Shostakovich.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff.
Dmitri Shostakovich. I've listened to a ton of his work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to thinking about why do I like it? And then I was thinking about all the Russian composers.
Yeah.
And how I'm really drawn to like the Russian composers of that, like from the early 1800s up until the early 1900s. There was like a run of them, like
mm-hmm.
like you said. We said Shostakovich, Tchaikovsky, Shostakovich, or not. You said that one. Stravinsky,
mm-hmm.
And then there's even like Prokofiev, which has some bangers, and then quite a few others that were like, and then like Rachmaninoff.
Mm-hmm. I think it parallels. I think a lot of their works were tied into the ballet, and like the Russian ballet being like the pinnacle of art for Europe in the era that it was in.
But again, I got to thinking about it, and I was like thinking about it because I also just recently saw this video of like someone played. It might have watched it with Jerry. Like this chick played on piano like the Mario theme or something, but did it in the different styles of different classical composers like Beethoven, Mozart, and whatnot. And I don't think she did Shostakovich, but she did one of the Russian guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to thinking about it, and like I figured it out. Russian, like that era of Russian composers, that was the metal music of classical music. I mean, because when you think about it, the big themes of like that era of Russian composers was like big, bold, in your face, like marching to war type feelings mixed in with intricate dynamics and very technical parts.
A little bit math rock.
And there'd be times when it's like in your face, and then it kind of just switches up to something different, and it gets back in your face, and it's like very percussive in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's where metal began. That's where the music started to change from just your classical music into like classical music that gets you fired up and like wanting to go like hit something. And so yeah, I really like a lot of the Russian composers, but I will say Shostakovich is my favorite for a lot of reasons. And it's funny because I was reading into him, and for a long time there was controversy around them because the Russian like government, and I guess at that time, couldn't really figure out if he was actually like pro-Russia or like a progressive like liberal type. And they like searched through all of his work to like look for signs of like him trying to put secret like messages or something out there, like he's against Russia or something. And so I mean, some people think that he was kind of like anti-establishment,
Is subversive in some hard to detect way.
Exactly. Which again, that's metal. Like,
Okay.
if you're gonna be one of the biggest composers in your country for the era, and like the government's like, oh, people should be listening to this, then like that's what metal was or is today. So I like it a lot.
I like, I think especially in like Stravinsky, but Shostakovich as well. You can, I don't know if this is offensive to say, but I think definitely in that like Napoleonic to World War II era, I think people took a lot of like nationalism pride and like ethnic pride, and I like that you can hear and really tell, kind of like you were saying, of like how this music is different from the other music that's going on at the same time. Same way like the Russian people were different than what was going on. And again, like, if I guess this is an offensive statement, but a lot in like a very brutish way, where is not to right up until the present, most people are not doing as well as like the ruling elite, whereas like way more pronounced in like a monarchy. But I feel like the Russians were like not just like straight up brutal to the people, but that they lived in brutality and like and without, and that just kind of being, I think the way that the Russian peasantry went about it was different than like the French peasantry and the English peasantry.
Yeah.
And I think that comes across in that music very much so.
Yeah.
Especially in that, like, is this subversive sort of way.
Music's so cool.
Yeah. That's good. Good little chat on that.
Yeah, I mean, that lasted longer than I thought it would.
We're trying to bring that into the present. Yeah, the next thing to talk about, we had talked about the Combine and J.J. McCarthy, but I don't know. Is there any analog to, is this subversive or is it not in the modern day?
I think it's so easy to be, like, you're allowed to be subversive now that it's not that much of a shocking thing. Like, like Green Day, I'd say would be like subversive. Kind of, like, they're anti-establishment. They're trying to go the other way. Always have been. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I mean, I guess unless like there probably is some in like some countries that still don't really have their stuff together, right? Like
Hungary or Russia still. Definitely. I mean, also just like explicit subversiveness of like Pussy Riot and Alexei Navalny, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's bands in like countries like that if they got found out that they were playing a show, they'd all get
arrested and all people there too.
And unalived, thrown off of balconies. They like doing that there.
Defenestrated.
But yeah, in terms of our side of the world, I don't think so much.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still stuff out there like that.
I bet there's something close going on in like, this is in evangelical Christianity, where for the last 10-ish years, it's kind of been taken over by Trumpers and Trumpism and what I don't think is unfair to say is like idolatry of Trump.
Yeah.
And I know people have written books, but I think I could imagine a situation where somebody comes into an evangelical congregation and slowly tries to like plant a seed of this is not a good person, while not like losing the flock. Sorry, that was more personal to me.
It's okay.
In the car, we were talking about the combine.
Mm-hmm.
It's another. Sometimes Ashley loves this stuff more than I do. When we were playing our games last night, and I was like, let's just put something on in the background, and I was going to put on like the combine 40 times.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, I want to pay attention to that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but there's dudes putting up like 4.29s now,
So quick.
weighing like 250.
Yeah, that's the wild part is how big these guys are, but they're moving that quick. Like,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem like the human body should do that.
She showed me her favorite thing that she had seen in the day from her social media feed of football stuff, which was a tight end. Ooh, maybe from Michigan. Have you heard about this? You heard about this, Kelly?
No.
This might be worth Googling.
Is this Eric All? Or, Schoonmaker?
No, not Schoonmaker. No, this year.
Oh, yeah.
Dallas Cowboy. Schoonmaker is probably going to have a big year next year. Michigan tight end combine. Alright, it didn't come up immediately, so I must be thinking of it wrong. But some tight end messed up the drill. So he's going down the line and they throw you a football from one side and then you turn and you catch it from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And he had gone down and done that, but he miscounted the men. And he caught one and then was about to run upfield, but somebody yelled at him. So he turned his head and the football's coming in, and with one football already in hand, he grabs it with his other hand and has just two footballs and finishes the, then he does the sprint when he was supposed to. But it's just a, no big deal, one hand. One hand, this unexpected pass.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to find that. Tight end combine catch. What?
Colorado State, my bad, okay.
Yeah, it's totally different. And I got door hinges.
What do you mean?
I searched for tight end combine catch, and it's showing me door hinges.
Okay, my bad. It's Colorado State tight end Dallin Holker.
Never heard those words before.
And let's see if let's play a commercial first. I bet it does. We gotta talk for 12 seconds, Kelly. Then I'll show you this video.
Okay. What's going on in 12 seconds? I don't know. It's almost 12 seconds.
No, it's longer now. I messed up.
Oh no. Alright, something's happening. Moving around, looking at a screen. Stupid
No.
ESPN.co.uk. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. This looks terrible on my phone.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's from the UK. It's a long way to get there.
Yeah, but there you go.
Well, that's cool.
That guy will be drafted.
Football's pretty cool.
Oh, I miss it.
Me
Well,
too.
Everybody's saying quarterbacks are going to go 1, 2, 3 picks.
Yep. And like we said earlier, my boy J.J. McCarthy, he's now sitting in the 4th position for quarterbacks, and a lot of people are saying that he's going to go in the top 10, top 15.
Top 10 easy. And the only other person I can think of I would put before him is like Michael Penix, the Washington guy. But you guys beat in the championship, so he's got to go behind. Those are the rules.
I mean, I don't know about that, but
You defeated. He bested Tim Kelly.
it's interesting because I never thought JJ would make it in the NFL. So I wonder, maybe this could be our next Tom Brady situation where, like, cause Tom coming out of college, like, you'd never thought he'd be a good NFL quarterback, let alone become a GOAT.
That would be dope. I'd see a lot of Max Duggan in him, and that he's very capable and a wonderful leader, and can use his legs, but is it like NFL caliber?
Right. I mean, he has a strong arm, which is definitely a good thing. I don't know if he has a quick enough release, though. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, apparently he's getting a lot of eyes on him, so...
Yeah, it helps. Like, none of the top 3 quarterbacks are doing anything at the combine.
Yep, he's the best quarterback throwing at the combine this year, so...
I don't know how common this is, but the consensus number 1 pick, Caleb Williams, is not doing the combine, which I understand is common, but he's also not doing a pro day.
I think Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. Like, his last, 4 games or something, 4 or 6 games of the season this year, like, he was not who he used to be.
I know he wasn't lights out. I know
think-
he did have some downs with
I think he plateaued already.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be like a... what was that guy's name?
I keep wanting to say Bo Nix, but
That's exactly what I'm looking for.
It was Bo something, though, right?
I was thinking Bo Nix, too, but...
Bo Scarborough. I think that's a real person, too. And maybe I'm wrong and Caleb Williams is doing a pro day. Maybe I'm thinking of Marvin Harrison's not doing either. The consensus number 1 wide receiver.
Which, that's fine, because we know he's a dog. Like, he's going to be a great NFL wide receiver day 1.
But I would understand him not doing it, because if he's also the consensus number 1 in his position, Caleb Williams, I mean.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to see who the Pats get. Because I'd assume Drake may, but it'd be neat if they got the LSU quarterback.
Who's their coach now? Did they hire a head coach? They had to have.
I think it was a former player.
Let's go to the Googs.
Google. Unless that's the DC I'm thinking of.
You Google, I Google, we Google. Google time. Patriots.
Yeah.
Head coach.
Gerard Mayo.
Nice. Man, the draft is so far away.
It's weeks. It's real close, not far away.
I mean, it's not that close, but the XFL.
I was
Or
going to say MLB.
MLB. Oh, well. The other football league, too. What's that called now? AFL or...
The Googs.
You Google, I Google, we Google, Google time.
I accidentally typed ISFL, and USFL is not popular enough to be an autocorrect recommendation. UFL, United Football League.
That's right. I knew it was a 3-letter one. I think that starts later this month.
March 30th. So
Basically
time?
a month away. But I said basically a month away.
Yeah.
But that's also like right around the start of baseball.
Right. Which is starting in Korea this year.
Yep. Shohei Ohtani hit a home run from his first at bat of spring training. And he secretly got married without telling anybody.
Yeah.
Which I like a lot.
Just released a tweet with double spaces and then a period after his last sentence for some reason.
Man, I like him so much, but I hate these on the Dodgers now.
Yeah, he just went from LA Angels to LA Dodgers.
I mean, that staying in the same city doesn't bother me, but I just dislike the Dodgers. Because they're all assholes.
Yeah, it would be cool if he went to the Mariners.
That would have been very cool. I could have gotten behind that hard. But he deserves to go to a big market team that's willing to spend because he deserves to win.
Yeah. Mike Trout is real funny. Because he could have gone like anywhere, and he's like, I'm going to die on this field. They'll bury me in Angel Stadium.
Yeah, so we're coming up on that. I guess we're in the middle of basketball, but the
Oh.
Rockets fucking suck.
Yeah, they stopped winning at home as well.
It's a shame. Definitely thought they were going to do better this year.
I definitely thought the Spurs were going to do better, and they're like literally last again.
They're doing it on purpose so they can get somebody to play with Wemby.
Are we going to say that again next year? I mean,
Maybe.
I thought the same thing about the Rockets this year. Like, they're just waiting to get a guy.
I mean, I think they're now doing bags. They just need one more piece. They got to get that good draft pick.
Well, Wemby's a slam dunk.
Well, he's rookie of the year for sure.
Yeah.
If he gets a little mass on him,
Mhm.
he's just going to be unstoppable.
However many weeks ago, I gave you Jabari Smith and Jonathan Kuminga for Brandon Miller.
Yeah.
Miller's injured.
Yeah.
Kuminga blowing it up. Jabari is finally like scoring 50 points on the regular.
Yeah.
You need to lock in your playoff spot, bud.
Oh, yeah. I haven't even looked at my team recently. I've just been so preoccupied with other stupid life stuff.
And you giving hope to the three people behind you.
I'm gonna make it exciting. What else is going on?
The new Dune movie's out. Ash and I are going to watch the first Dune this weekend, and then whenever it makes sense, as far as movie theater, not so full wise, we'll go see it in a movie theater.
I'm probably one of the very few people in the world that really couldn't give two shits about it.
Mm-hmm.
Really didn't care too much for the first one. Like,
Mm.
I'm not, like, it's a good movie. Like, the visuals are awesome. The acting is really good and whatnot. It didn't speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really not that excited. Although I'm hearing a bunch of people saying, like, Dune 2 is going to be, like, the best movie of all time.
It's apparently such a good book that Ash, like, fun reads it, because she read that whole book again in, like, a matter of, like, 2 weeks.
Wow.
If that. Maybe like 10 days on the long end, 4 on the minimum. And I guess this, like, second movie is still in that first book.
Wow.
My parents loved the movie, loved the book and the movie. And there have been maybe like 2 Dune remakes, like another movie and then like a TV series sent like before this one. And they're always like, it's not as good as the book. But I've never read the book, and I really liked the first movie. Because they do have like a archetypical like space opera in my mind. And I like how much this one maps onto that. There's a book series called Red Rising.
Yeah.
That I gave to my dad. That Ash and I listened to years ago. That also maps like really well onto. This is the perfect sci-fi, big space drama.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'll end up seeing Dune 2 at some point, but it's really not one of those things that I'd like want to go to a theater and watch.
Have you seen Interstellar still now?
I don't think so.
Yeah, we still haven't seen that. We're still one day gonna watch it with you guys.
2028.
Could be.
I mean, again, that's one I'm also not. I don't know. After watching so much like Expanse, just the stressful space stuff. I don't know. I've just been moving away from stressful things.
Alright, so you brought it up. We gotta talk about it. I'm sorry, it's gonna be another 20 minutes. We've been watching Monarch.
Mm-hmm.
Something I like about The Expanse is the realism and the, hey, we're gonna go from this part of the solar system to that part of the solar system. Here's 3 months later. And how they're real good about that in ways that shows like Game of Thrones, hey, we just went from the top of the continent to the bottom continent in like one scene, are bad at. And something else that we discovered is terrible at that sort of realism. It's Monarch. Do you remember this last episode, Kelly?
I remember most of it.
Do you remember they're stranded in Alaska?
Yep.
Famously not small Alaska. Going from like one ridge of mountains to the next, and then going in separate directions. And being like, we'll get there before nightfall. And it's already like the sun is setting.
Yeah.
They should have all died. They should have all died over and over again.
Nah, man. They got kaiju to go after.
If the sun is setting and you're at the top of this like ridgeline, the sun has set by the time you get to like the bottom of your mountain, let alone like over the next mountain, let alone to the bottom of the next mountain. And then you just like the wind.
They're all in really good shape. Although I'm pretty sure, isn't like Kurt Russell's character in that supposed to be like real old, like 80s, 90s?
It's the 90s in the show.
Which is wild.
But they'll explain that. I'm sure it's like radiation or something.
Yeah. Maybe he's like a kaiju.
Yeah.
Oh man, just now that we're talking about media, Jared and I last night watched the new animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh yeah?
10 out of 10.
Ooh.
Absolutely great movie. Apparently it's filled with like big celebrity voices, like all over the place.
People who grew up loving TMNT.
Probably, but it was really cool. The art, the animation of it was really cool too, because it had this way of like transitioning between like almost comic book cartoon looking into like almost realistic. And it'll just kind of go back and forth in between the two in a very, very appealing way. The story was really solid. It was really funny, as all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, or any of that is. There's just a lot of comedy involved. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I don't want to say too much more because you haven't seen it.
That tells me I should see it.
Yeah. Like, usually if Jared and I both agree that something's really good, then it's probably really good.
Yeah. No, I appreciate any time somebody's like, I don't want to spoil it. Like, alright, you got me.
But it made me really want to go back and rewatch the original, like, first 3 Ninja Turtle movies. Because it's been ages since I've seen those. Like, I've probably seen the first one, within the last 10 years. But, like, 2 and 3, I can't even remember. Like, do you remember, like, they go to Japan in the third one?
It's the third one, yeah. They time travel, right?
I forgot about the time traveling part of it. Oh, I want to rewatch them so bad. And I was trying to think too, like in the first like 3 movies, I was trying to wonder how old are they at that time. I mean, they're still teenage, but like, what are they like? 15? Are they 18? Are they 19?
I think they're supposed to be like perpetually 16, 17.
16, 17? Well, okay, one thing that's not too big of a spoiler, but for most of the movie that we watched last night, they're like 15 years old.
There you go.
But they act a lot older than that back in those movies, I feel like. But also, 1991 15-year-old was like a 2024 25-year-old.
Street Smarts! In New York.
Yeah. But like, have you seen any of those pictures that go around, or like videos of the internet of like high school kids in the early 90s and they all look like they're in their 30s?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
So maybe it's like that. Like maybe just you aged a lot quicker back in those days.
Family member put up a picture of the high school football team for some high school in like the 50s. And there were like 2 people that looked like they were 8, and then there were like 2 people that looked like they were 43. It was like, what is going on?
That's funny.
Somebody was talking about... Oh, it was Taylor Swift. It started a whole conversation about the millennial glow up and how a lot of us previous generations get into your 30s and 40s, you just start to fall the fuck apart. How? A lot of us drinking water, staying out of the sun, looking good.
Yeah, I think our generation, a lot of us aren't really, or didn't really start hitting our stride until like our 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I still haven't hit any stride. I'm still looking for that. I'm hoping by 40 I get there.
My 20s was all army and adventure guides and just driving too much.
Yeah, my 20s was just living about as reckless as you can without ever getting in any real trouble. Which, got lucky I didn't get into any real trouble then.
40's around the corner.
It's too close. I don't want to think about it. Oh man, that makes me think the other day, when I was at work, like the area I sit in with all my team and whatnot, someone brought up like asked somebody where they were on like 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And like we have 2 people on our team that are 22, so they weren't even alive yet.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of the team said like, yeah, I was like 2 or 3 years old.
Right.
Or I might have been. One of them was like I was in like 1st or 2nd grade.
Because we were only 16. We were like sophomores in high school.
I thought we were freshmen.
Pretty sure we were sophomores, but either way.
Did it happen in 2000 or 2001? 2001?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we were sophomores. Now, about to turn 16, because September 11th.
Mm.
I mean, Jared turned 16, I guess, on the day.
Yeah.
Poor Jared. And then we, shortly after there, turned 16. But yeah, and like, I was telling them, like, yeah, I was in high school, and they're like, whoa, you're so old.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah.
Sure.
We're getting old. It's wild that like technically like the 2 people on my team that are like 22,
Mm-hmm.
I technically could be their dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's weird. But such is life.
Yeah.
Sure don't feel as old as I am, at least in my mind.
Samesies. But presumably like having kids and all that makes you feel older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. I started getting depressed. Started depressing myself on that. When you come out of that, don't want to end on that note.
Don't want to end on that note. What are you doing tonight?
I don't know. Are we doing anything?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, let's
Is
play
that tonight or is that...
No, we'll do it tonight. Or this afternoonish.
That's what I meant, like...
Oh, yeah. Probably the afternoon.
I mean, I prefer the afternoon.
Sweet.
Because then it gives me the night to still have a night.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to hang out with you here in a couple hours, few hours. Other than that, I don't know. Jared and I might go get lunch today.
We gotta get back on Mission Impossible, Kelly.
Nah. I mean, I'm not opposed, but I'm not excited for it anymore.
How can we get as far as we did and not finish it?
Says the guy that never finishes anything they watch.
I still finished, like, the overwhelming majority of it. And when it comes to stuff that we've done, we finished Firefly. We finished stuff.
Yeah.
I did hard stop Entourage.
What a great show.
Did you keep going? Or did you stop doing it when I stopped talking about it?
Oh, I think I finished it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was at that point in my life, I was like binge watching all kinds of stuff. So I think I watched all of that.
Yeah, I've stopped, like, the last place I told you, somewhere in season 2.
Yeah.
Just got too busy. I can jump back on it.
Maybe I didn't finish it, but I don't know. Still got a bunch of new stuff I want to see, like the...
When Masters of the Air finishes, we'll watch it and recap on here.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that show.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't wait.
Alright, let's get to it.
Alrighty, well, if y'all made it to the end, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends, and have a wonderful
Take care, y'all.